Hello.
Hello.
Welcome in. Welcome in. I saw a couple of fun comments in here. I always love getting this weather report, by the way, since we are all in different areas of the world. Let's see. We had Miss Marjorie. Hi there. Central Missouri, and winter is back. Oh, man.
Yeah,
Well,
we just had like a false spring couple days there where it was a little bit warmer and now
we
it's cold
sure
again.
did. And hi, Lisa, in a chilly day in West Tennessee. Listen, here's what I want to tell you all who are still having winter. We have freezing rain in our forecast for tonight and into tomorrow. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to push that aside and we're going to think spring.
That's where I'm at.
We're just
That's
going
what I
to think
want.
spring. We're going to pretend like it's spring. We're going to
Mhm.
quilt like it's spring. Who's with me? If that sounds good to you,
There you
drop spring in the comments.
Joan Good is in the 70s, so she's living in that
Good.
weather. That's
Okay.
awesome.
Hopefully it sticks around for
Yes.
you, Joan. But yeah, type spring in the comments if you are ready to pretend with us today and get ready for spring. After all, you do have to start seasonal type projects ahead
Time, yeah.
in order to have them
Yes.
on display, right? So, by the way, so for those of you who are dropping spring, that means you're going to pretend and play along with us, but it also is going to enter you into our giveaway because we have a live keyword today, and the word is spring. What do you know? What do you know? Okay. Awesome. Good to see you all here today. So the other thing that I would love, I always like to kind of figure out before we get started, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? If you are new,
I was like, no, I don't. What are you going to say?
If you are new here and you're like, what is this Hoop Sisters thing? Who are these people? What is this all about? Put a number 1 in the comments. We would love to see who is joining us, maybe for the first time, or consider yourself new. And maybe we should introduce ourselves to those people.
Yeah. So I'm Sarah Congdon. I'm a designer and digitizer here at Hoop Sisters. And I have the pleasure of working with my sister. We're not the sisters, but we are sisters.
We are sisters.
What do you do? And what's your name?
I don't know what I do. My name's Aubrey, and I am always on the workshops. In fact, we have a workshop coming up next month, and I'm going to miss day 2. I'm going on a trip, and I was thinking this might be like the first workshop ever.
Yeah.
That I'm not doing.
I'm gonna have to fill in, so I'll have to have an extra cup of coffee that day.
Woo! You'll be good. If you have coffee, you'll be all set. All set. Okay, so number 1, if you are brand new around here. Number 2, if you are familiar with Hoop Sisters and you could tell a sewing friend what we're about, drop a number 2. Okay, awesome. Here's some 1s and 2s. Fantastic. 2++. And if you drop a number 2 in the comments, I would also love it if you would let the number 1s know what your favorite thing about Hoop Sister is. Okay, that would be cool. More like 22. Linda Russell's been around hanging out with us for a while. That's for sure. Okay, let's get things started.
Oh, good thing I had that like that. I
forgot
about that.
I know. So welcome. And as Sarah was just saying, we are sisters. We are related to the Hoop Sisters. They are in the center there, Linda Remmers and Annie Moody. So family owned and operated business since 2008.
Yep.
Which is a long time
ago.
That is. Long time ago. So just know you're in good hands and we know what we're doing. We've done this for a little while, okay? Let's also just talk about, for the people who are new around here, also, I love all the comments coming
they're so
through.
Nice.
So if you put a number 1 in the comments, check out what the number 2 people are saying. I love all of that. But if you are new around here, we wanted to just let you know what you signed up for, what you're in for, right?
Yeah. So the Hoop Sisters workshop is always free to attend. It's a virtual event for embroidery machine lovers. And we might be partial, but we think they're really fun. We get to showcase a brand new design that we'll reveal in a little bit to you. And we show you exactly how to make it. So we'll stitch a block together today, and then tomorrow we'll come back and we'll trim that block. We'll show you a great pinning technique for joining your blocks, and then we'll show you how to join it. And you get a little treat tomorrow too, because we're going to talk about how to add a sleeve to the back of your quilt, much like this one was done. a sleeve to the back of your quilt that doesn't require any hand sewing. Because if you guys have been around a little while, you guys know I don't like to hand sew. So we come up with any way we can to not hand sew.
Yeah.
And then obviously you also get included limited time pricing with a bundle bonus. So stick around. We will explain all of that. They're just really fun.
Yeah. And just know, like, if you registered for this, you would have gotten a free gift just so you can try us out. You can see what our instructions are like, which is fantastic. We do close registration on day 1. So there is no more registering. But if you register, you get email reminders, you get a test, something to test out, and it doesn't cost anything to register or join us live and watch what we're doing. Now, if you want to do the design we're going to reveal, then we have special ordering links and things like that. But that's what our workshops are about. And it seems like you all love them in the comments. Instructions are so clear. Good job.
Good. Well, thank you. I'm happy to hear that.
Okay, so we also want to let you know, well, you can order direct from us if you don't have a participating quilt shop around you. We want to let you know that we actually do have some wonderful local quilt shops who are carrying this exact design and have access to the registration gift and something else we're going to show you in a little bit. So if you are near Lake Jackson, Texas, Paris, Ontario, Junction City, Kansas, Garden City, Georgia, Wisconsin, Woodstock, Illinois, Hudson, Illinois, Monclova, Ohio, or Holly Hill, Florida, perk up, pay attention. We have a shop near you that has some Hoop Sisters goodies, and we would love it if you would go and support them. Now, if none of those cities and states are anywhere near you, then don't worry. We were going to share an order link with you today, okay? Where in Oregon? I don't think I said Oregon. Did I say Oregon?
I don't think so.
Nobody in Oregon has this. No shop in Oregon has this pattern. Okay. So you might want to wait for that direct order link. Okie dokie. Moving right along. What are we starting with this week, Sarah?
Yeah. So this week, really starting today, we're going to talk about tools of the trade. So we'll talk about battleizer, water soluble thread, a little about our hoop scissors mini and why we use all these things. Because that's actually one of the number one questions we get is why water soluble thread and what is battleizer? So we'll talk about all that while we stitch out a block and the hoop of an embroidery machine. Then tomorrow, like I said earlier, we come back and we're going to do trimming with the Trimmer by George, which is an amazing tool to remove the bulk from the seams. We're going to show you an anchor point pinning technique, and we're going to join blocks together. And like I said, that little treat, which is how to add a sleeve to the back of your wall hanging without any hand sewing. And I did see one comment who was with me. She said, no hand sewing for me either.
There you go. So you definitely want to come. Well, the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing,
right?
So that's what we're going to dive into today. And I am very excited. Whether you are a number 1 or a number 2 in the comments, we have some beautiful things ahead for you. The other thing we want you to know is if we somehow miss your question, we're streaming over on YouTube. We're streaming on Facebook. We're a little all over the place. So if we don't see your comment, just know you can reach out to Nina. This is also the perfect thing to do if you're like, I don't think I got my free gift for registering. I don't think I did that, or I'm not sure this cart isn't looking how they said. Reach out to Nina after the live and she will get you taken care of. In fact, today is Nina's 6-year work anniversary.
Wow.
So give her a happy anniversary in the comments. But she's in the comments here for you. She's going to be dropping links and helpful information in there. And you can always reach out to her after the live as well. Okay. All right. I think it's time
Should we hold this up
to show the beautiful design that my sister made.
That's me.
Are you guys ready to check this out?
I was going to hold it up just now and I'm like, wait, this little tiny box. Let's make it
Someone
bigger.
said hand is a 4-letter word.
Yes.
I think that's so cute. Okay. All right. We're going to hold this up and give you guys a look. And then we're going to do some close-ups because it's so pretty. Can I hold it and you talk about it?
Yeah. Okay, so this is, I'm like, hold it up. What are you doing?
I'm sorry.
You were slow and dramatic. I love it. Okay, so this is spring things. And I don't know why I have a hand stuck in my head now. So Okay, ignore me. This is Spring Things. It comes in 2 sizes. So this is our small size. We'll go over dimensions in a second, but it has so many uniquely digitized and designed blocks packed in there. So there's 10 unique blocks, and that does not even include the border.
Yes.
So you get the included border with it as well in your files. And, you know, we've got the dragonfly. He's really cute, done with stitch and flip technique, and then a watering can, cherry blossoms, the butterfly, which this is what we're going to stitch today. So easy to stitch. You've got your little basket
love
of
the
flowers.
basket.
I know. It's so cute. And then the tulips with the cute little ladybug on it, an umbrella, the bumblebee, your welcome spring block, and then kind of your spring field block.
We got to show
with the
these
cherry
close.
blossom tree.
We got to
Yep.
show these close up. They are so beautiful. The detail is amazing. In fact, I got to say, Sarah, one of the things that I saw someone say they loved about Hoop Sisters was that it's done when it's done. The quilting
Yes.
is included.
Yeah, and that's another thing about this particular quilt. It's kind of got different. Aubrey is pointing out a funny comment. You guys are cracking us up. But the quilting is all included, and there is unique quilting across each of these blocks. So you'll kind of see that as we show you guys the close up here. I'm going to try to lift this up a little bit. So again, this is our dragonfly. He's really cute. Now this one is really fun because it has an optional, you can choose to add organza over your fabric when you're doing the stitch and flip
It's
portion
such a
of
cool
this.
effect.
Yeah, and then it stitches kind of the veining on the wings over top of it. So it adds like that iridescent look to it. This dragonfly has the optional organza. This one does not have the optional organza, but we used a metallic thread for that veining. So you can kind of see the difference. Let me see if I can get a little closer between these two.
How gorgeous.
So just
yeah.
up to you how you do that, but really cute little dragonfly, and then our watering can.
The watering
can. Different
Woo.
quilting in the background you can see. And again, we used a metallic thread, which I'm going to stitch live with metallic thread today. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea. Sometimes it can be
I know,
fuzzy,
right? I was
but-
like, oh, are you really? Wait, show them the background. Did they
yeah,
see
that's
that?
what I said. The
Oh,
background
okay, sorry.
quilting is different again in that one. And then your cherry blossoms, which are just so cute.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're going to stitch today this is so hard to hold this up. I need another hand.
What do you want me to do? Here.
Yeah, because you kind of got to move it so we can see that quilting. You'll see this quilting today because we're going to stitch it live, but it kind of has it's almost like wind kind of quilting.
I mean, look
and
at this guy.
Bumblebee, so cute. Again, with metallic thread in the wings. Super cute. And
His
then
little body's so cute too.
And this one's so easy because this is just one piece of fabric done applique. So you tack it down, trim, stitch your satin stitch, and then this black, his kind of black stripes, is just thread. So really, really easy. And then your stitch and flip umbrella, super cute. Then you've got your tulips. And again, I'm going to show you the quilting. It's kind of raindrop quilting. Man, how do I get my light to cooperate here?
I don't know. I don't know how to help.
Raindrop quilting behind this one, and then behind your tulips, you kind of have mimicking quilted tulips in the background.
I love this.
It's super cute.
It's like those extra details.
Yes. Here is our basket of flowers. So the basket is kind of built with that stitch and flip technique, and then you have the flowers as applique right over top of it.
And this is
cute.
This is
Mm-hmm.
part of the design. This isn't fabric. I mean, there's this fabric, but this is
the
stitching.
basket weave kind of look. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then your welcome spring block. This is very reminiscent of, if you registered, very reminiscent of the coaster that you guys got. So that's where that comes from. And then what did I miss? Oh, there's one more that I think I missed.
Oh, this guy.
The cute little kind of spring field with the sun shining down on the butterfly, and then the cherry blossom tree.
And we are going to talk about sizing, but did we show that there's different? I mean, did they pick up on that? Did we point that out?
That there's 2 different size blocks within this one. I don't think I mentioned that yet. I was just going to show some of the the tulip quilting on the border as well. And I want to point out to you that your border block is this part right here.
Mm-hmm.
So this curve is still done in the hoop.
Yeah.
So really easy to do. But yeah, so there's 2 sizes to spring things, and within each size, there's 2 different size blocks. So you can kind of see here as your larger of the 2 blocks, and then your smaller. And it's essentially, we'll talk more about this tomorrow, but it's just put together kind of in quadrants. So here are your bottom 2 quadrants. You put these blocks together first, these blocks, join it together, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow. And we'll go over dimensions in a second, but I just wanted to show you guys some of the close-up details.
Absolutely. Okay. And what we're going to do now, here's the sizing information, Sarah, if you want to talk about this. And I think we'll have Nina drop the order link if you're ordering direct. Now, we will have a promotion we'll talk about. It's kind of the standard. So if you're a number 2, feel confident in ordering, go for it. If you're number 1, wait, and I'll tell you about some other details. But why don't we talk about the sizing in this as well?
Yeah. So small, which is the one that I just showed you, is about 25.5 by 25.5. If you want to stitch the larger size, it's about 35.5 by 35.5. And then down on the left-hand lower side of your screen, you should be able to see the minimum hoop size that's required to stitch each. So I'm just going to say if you have like a 5 by 7 inch hoop, you definitely should be able to stitch that small one.
Woohoo!
So yeah.
Cool. All right. So there's the sizing information, and we'll probably talk about that again. It tends to be a frequently asked question, but we did want to let you guys know that. So if you have a 5 by 7, you should be good on this one. So that's awesome. Okay. I think it's time.
Okay.
And I think we said you're going to stitch the butterfly block.
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
All right.
I'm heading over. Okay. So we're over at my machine, and I have Battleizer in my hoop already. And Battleizer, if you were a number 1 and you're new around here, that is batting and stabilizer. It's combined into one product for you. So all you have to do is hoop your Battleizer. See, just one thing I had to hoop. I didn't have to layer and hoop multiple things. It's great to stitch something like this on because it has movement to it, yet it has the scrim of the stabilizer on the back. So you are still getting that kind of sturdiness that you need to stand up to those satin stitches. So this is our Battleizer in the hoop. And then I went ahead and I did step 1. Step 1 is what you can see in my black thread right here. And this is called a placement stitch. It's essentially just an outline of where your block is going to be built in the hoop of your machine. So what I want to say about that too is when you're stitching this, don't use a black thread like I did. I just did this so that we can see it on camera. When you're stitching it, just go ahead and follow our instructions, which, by the way, thank you guys, because I saw a lot of comments that said love the instructions. So that is such helpful feedback because we want to make it as straightforward as possible for you. So make sure when you're doing this, you're following the instructions. So here's step 1. It says hoop your Battleizer. And then it essentially just says sew your placement stitch with water-soluble thread. And we'll talk in a little bit about why we use water-soluble thread. But again, I'm using black thread just for our demonstration today so we can see it well on camera. Okay. So now I'm going to skip step 2. Step 2 is to add optional wool batting if you want that extra dimension underneath your quilting, because remember, quilting is always included in our designs. So if you want to use that additional wool batting, you'd tack it down in step 2 with water-soluble thread. And now we're going to move on to step 3. And for step 3, we're going to take our background fabric. I've got it all cut according to the supply chart that's right in your instructions. And I'm going to align that over our placement stitch. When I do that, I like to lift up on the sides and just make sure that I have enough on each side and I'm kind of centered right over that placement stitch. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure you've got about a 1/2 inch of fabric on each side. And now still with water-soluble thread, we'll sew our tack down.
Good morning in New Zealand, Pam. She's watching from New Zealand and it's early.
Thursday. That always boggles my brain.
Yeah.
My brain can't handle that. So right here, it's also going to sew the placement stitch for where our applique will be. I see Heidi Lynn over on Facebook asked if water soluble comes in a larger spool. Yes, you can get, I believe it's, and don't quote me on this, I could be wrong, but I believe you can get it in a 300 yard or a 2,000 yard spool. So your 2,000 yard would definitely be a lot bigger and last you a lot longer.
Pam said, sorry, I can't actually tell you the future.
That's cute. Okay. Now we are on step 4. And for step 4, we're just going to take our fabric. I've got like kind of a yellowy gold. It's a really pretty fabric. I'm going to lay that over my placement stitch that just stitched. And then we're going to tack this down using the same thread. So you would just keep your water soluble thread in your needle. I'm dropping all my papers as I speak too.
Cindy said spring is not here yet. And I beg to differ. We're thinking it is. We're pretending it is. And if you order the design, it'll arrive in your mailbox within probably 5 days.
Yeah, it'll make it feel like
spring will be.
Spring. So as I'm placing this, you can see how I'm just kind of moving it around as needed. I'm making sure that it's covering my placement stitch nicely. And now we'll sew the tack down. Okay, now that we've got that tacked down, I'm just going to take my hoop off my machine so I can move it around a little bit. And I'm going to use my hoop scissors mini, which has this nice offset handle. It's got a really fine point on it too, so that trimming is really easy when you're trimming your applique. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim as close as I can to our tack down stitching all the way around. When you do this, you do want to make sure that you are keeping your hoop on a hard, flat surface. And the reason for that is if you are setting it in your lap, you run the risk of, shifting your design just a little bit because you're adding a little too much uneven pressure to the back of your hoop. And if you do that, your satin stitches could be off ever so slightly, but enough that you'd have to restitch your black. So do this on a hard, flat surface. And also, as I'm doing this, I'm kind of pulling ever so slightly outward on the fabric because I find that it gives you a cleaner cut. So just kind of working my way around here. Okay, so there's our trim butterfly. Before I put this back on the machine, my next step is going to be to stitch all that detail on the butterfly wings as well as the satin stitching. And when I do that with a black thread on the needle, personally, I like to change my bobbin to black as well, because if you have a white thread in your bobbin and you don't have perfect tension, you might see some of that on the top. So that's just kind of optional. It depends on how your machine stitches. I'm going to go ahead and pop that black thread in my bobbin though. And then we are going to stitch the detailed portion. I'm going to grab my instructions again and see if I can show you this way. So this is the step that we're on. So we're stitching kind of the veining and the butterfly wings as well as the satin stitching. And again, just with a black thread.
I did start your question for you.
Okay, while that stitches, I'm going to look and see what questions we have. Miss Melissa over on YouTube wants to know if I've added anything to the back of the material. No, so all I've done so far is hoop the battleizer, which is just the one product. And then I'm sewing the placement stitching and adding the fabric, but there's nothing on the back of the fabric itself, no. Miss Diana over on YouTube wants to know, is water-soluble thread in the bobbin? No, Diana, water-soluble thread is actually only in the needle for these steps. not for this step we're doing right now, but for those first initial steps when you asked your questions, water-soluble thread is only in the bobbin, or is only in the needle. Sorry, I read bobbin as I said that. Water-soluble thread only in the needle.
Look at that. It's coming to life.
So pretty. It's so pretty. Okay, so while this stitches, this is going to start doing the satin stitching in a moment. So that'll take a couple minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Aubrey chat with you guys for a little bit while the machine does all the work.
Thanks. Okay. What are you guys thinking so far? Do we love it? Isn't that pretty? Okay, so here's the other thing that I want you to know, and I've seen a couple people ask. Yes, we have a very limited supply of fabric kits for this. In fact, I think I'm going to pull it over here.
Okay.
Because I want you guys to see there's a lot in this. And also, Sarah, we can't forget to talk about the 1 yard cuts too.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually have Sarah pop that up over there. Or I can if you need to stay over there.
What do you want me to do? This?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's an example of a fabric kit. I shouldn't say an example because it's all the same fabric, but this is one of our fabric kits. So it's enough to make the larger of the spring things wall hanging. So you can see your background fabric, your teal fabric, your yellow, your pink, your purple, and your chocolatey brown. And that's all right here. So when you get this, we do recommend that you just give it a quick measure. Make sure everything is exactly as it should be so that we can correct it if it's not. But here's kind of your yellowy. This is what we're using right now for our butterfly. And this is a really cute. It's got little kind of micro dots in it with some pinks. So that kind of pulls in these two pinks right here. We've got a lighter pink and then a darker pink, almost purple fabric. And again, this pink has some of those cute little micro dots in it as well. And then your brown, which is for the basket. And then teal.
They are such pretty colors.
The teal is used in quite a few places across this quilt.
Even the border.
Yep, in the border. And then your background fabric.
And there is a lot. I mean, there's a lot of fabric in here. So that is a really nice kit. So again, we have limited supplies of those. But then we also added, we had a little bit left over of a couple fabrics that go really nicely with this. They're just 1 yard cuts. These are on the website too. And I'll have Nina drop the link to the website so you can look at the fabrics, the designs, all that good stuff. But 1 yard of this. And so we kind of thought that would be a great little backing addition.
Yep.
I'm going to pop. You look like you got something work.
Well,
you're working something up.
Yeah, I just wanted to show them. So an example of one of the 1 yard cuts. So there's two different fabrics for the 1 yard pre-cut. So these are already cut into 1 yard. But you get this print as one of your options for the 1 yard pre-cuts. And I just laid our fabrics on here so you could kind of see how well those go together.
They do. They're really nice.
Yep. The other color is this teal. So if you want more teal, you want to use it for backing, or if you want to use the print for backing, these are both really great options for that.
And someone asked, is that country confetti? Yes.
It is.
This is country confetti. Yep. Yep. Okay. All right. You want me to keep going or are you ready over there?
Keep going. I still got a couple more.
All right. We're going to keep going. Okay. So I did see a couple people ask, is there a discount today? Yeah. So when we do the workshops, we like to give you a little bit of a discount as well. And we call this our workshop pricing. So it's really the best time to get it. It's like introductory pricing. So basically, you can just hang out with us. You don't have to order it. But if you love the pattern and you want to try it out in your machine, now is really the best time to do it. Because when you add 2 items from the link that Nina is dropping to your cart, you're going to save 10%. And it's going to pop in a bonus, which I think I'll show you on this other camera over here. This super cute bonus is worth $15. That goes in your cart automatically when you add 2 items. There are a couple exclusions. We do have the wool, our strip stick, which we're going to show you tomorrow. and any threads are not included in the 10% off. Okay. Sarah, you want to talk about this? Because this is actually quite special.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do, Aubrey, real quick,
You want that
I'm going
quilt
to
back?
do this. Yeah. And I'm going to pop this quilt over here. Sorry, not to be fumbling around. So here's your design. This is the bonus. So if you add 2 or more items to your cart from that new arrival category, this will pop in there. And this, I love this because if you want to incorporate this into your spring things wall hanging, it is made so that it can fit right on those blocks.
How cute.
See how you can just kind of replace this block with that, or your butterfly if you want, whichever one. So it's a nice block that you can use as an alternative block inside your spring things wall hanging if you'd like to do that.
Or just an extra coaster type
That's
deal
right.
to like match it. So
That's right.
that's a fun little bonus for if you order 2 or more items from the link that we're dropping. Okay. Is the 1 yard enough for backing if you're doing the larger blocks, Sarah?
I believe it is, but I do want to double check.
We're going to double check. Here, it's always good to double check. Okay.
I looked at this ahead of time, but I don't remember things these days.
You're all right. She's going to look into that real quick. Okay. So again, here's the rain boot. It's so precious. And, you know, honestly, I think this would be even cute, like for a teacher or something. These rain boots is so cute. Okay. So that'll pop in your cart automatically when you add 2 or more items. So here's the deal. We're excited about this one, and we hope that you would love to participate with it. We're going to have Nina drop that order link. Yeah, the bonus would make a really cute quilt label. You should do that, Chris, and then send us a picture. Go ahead.
As far as backing fabric goes, for the larger one, because your larger one is 35.5 by 35.5, our fabric requirements are going to tell you need 1.25 yards. You might be able to stretch that 1 yard and make it work for the larger one, but you might need to get 2 yards and kind of piece it together if you want one of those particular fabrics for your backing for the large one. It is plenty for the smaller one.
Okay, good to know. All right, I'm going to put the screen back over to Sarah for a minute so I don't make you guys seasick. Someone was asking about sizing, so I want to pull that slide back up. Okay, so she said late to the party. What was the sizing? So the small finish size is 25.5 by 25.5. The large is 35.5 by 35.5. You do get both sizes when you order it. So you can get this design on USB and we'll ship that to you, or you can get the downloadable version and have it right away. It will include the same thing no matter which way you order it, which is both sizes, multi-formatted and all that stuff. So we said earlier you need at least a 5x7 hoop. Okay. All right. You ready over there?
I'm ready.
Go ahead. Oh, yep.
Okay. Okay. So, you know, I should have changed my thread, but I'll change it as I talk. So you can see we've got all of our satin stitching. The body is done. And now we get to move on to the last part, which is our quilting. I'm going to use kind of a gold metallic. I want it to show and be visible. And I typically, if you've been around here a while, I'm bad about matching my quilting thread to my background fabric. So I didn't want to do that this time. Okay.
Yeah, Sandra, we'll show the fabric again in just a bit.
I'm going to go ahead because remember I put that black bobbin in there so that I wouldn't get any of that bobbin visible on the front since I'm using a pre-wound white. I'm going to switch that back for this quilting step. Okay. This quilting is just kind of reminiscent of kind of wind almost. It's really, really pretty. Oh, Linda Russell says she has a lot of butterfly fabric she's wanted to use in the quilt and she can see it as backing for this. That would be really pretty. know while this is stitching if you guys have any questions. I see a couple starred comments. I'm going to go ahead and answer those. So Juliana over on YouTube said, is it possible to make this larger than the larger size and still be able to use the adorable border? I would say you'd have to play around with just stitching more of the blocks. I definitely would not recommend enlarging the blocks in software or anything like that because it can throw off quilting or satin stitching, things like that. But you could probably make it larger just by stitching more of the blocks and kind of quadrants like you see and we were talking about earlier. So you could definitely give that a try. Oh, Hope wants to know if there's a reason I didn't use the needle threader. I just never do. No particular reason, whether it's metallic thread or polyester thread, which by the way, if you have your workbook, that's one of the fill in the blanks. I just, for some reason, don't use my needle threader. So if you do have your workbook, by the way, I don't remember what number it is. Looks like it's number 3 in the fill in the blank page, which is page 5. We here at Hoop Sisters recommend using a polyester embroidery thread. Typically it's between polyester and rayon. We don't recommend rayon just because it tends to be break a little bit easier than polyester. Polyester is a little more durable. Patricia wants to know what brand machine I'm using. So I'm on a Janome. I'm just kind of reading questions here, so bear with me for a moment.
It looks like there was some sold out confusion. Do you want to try and explain?
Yeah. So first, Kathy over on YouTube, does the embroidery go through all 3 layers of the quilt? So it's not going to show on the back in this particular quilt. We do have some quilts, especially like our heirloom quilts, where you do have the option to add the backing fabric in the hoop. But with this one, because it's a little bit smaller, is generally going to be used more like a wall hanging. It's not going to show on the back. I think there was a little confusion too over, was it fabric kits?
Yeah.
Fabric kits being sold out. Those I do not believe are sold out. So you definitely are still able to snag those. Aubrey pinned this comment, so Sandra said you don't use the threader because you're young. Someday I'll use it. Right now, I just like to fight with the needle as I thread it. Okay.
This is funny too. Sorry.
You just
sorry. I thought that was funny. You should read that.
Chris said, ordered now. The wait begins for USPS. Hoop Sisters ships quick, but yes, we've noticed that too, Chris. They've messed with us a few times recently, haven't they, Aubrey?
Yeah. And we can answer those questions whenever. I'm just starring them so that we don't lose them.
Yeah, I just see one more I want to answer right now. Robin said, how much yardage for the backing, the large size? So our fabric and thread key, which is included on the USB or digital download, because you get the same things with both, but it will tell you 1.25 yards for backing the larger size. Okay, and Sandra Smith wants to see fabric again. Aubrey, do you want to show her that real quick? And then I'll show this off. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, I'm going to pull the fabric again. Okay. I'm just going to move this a little bit so you can actually see it. But here it is. It comes with this little handy dandy sheet. It tells you the yardage and all that good stuff. But it is so stinking cute. There's like the country confetti. We love it. It's got those little polka dots in there, kind of like a marigold. Like, what is this one called? Sun going down yellow.
Yeah.
But it's like a marigold, this pretty like light pink and like a mauvey color. And then of course we've got that teal that we used in the border is in there. It does not include backing fabric. And then it has a little bit of This is actually like a chocolatey brown. I don't know if the light is giving it the right effect, but it's like a chocolate brown. And then of course the backing fabric is this beautiful, beautiful white. Sarah likes white. I like white too.
I do.
So it's a big old stack of fabric this time. And it is not sold out. So it's over there for you to check out. Hopefully that is what you wanted to see, Sandra. Okay. Oh,
Before you leave this.
and actually, I'm going to show this again too,
Okay.
because this was one of the 1 yard cuts. So
And it coordinates wonderfully with this.
Yeah, it really does coordinate nice. So if you're interested in the one of the 1 yard cuts, that's on there too. Okay.
Okay, so before I hand it back over to Aubrey, here is our finished block. So you can just see that kind of, it's really pretty swirl quilting with our butterfly. And then tomorrow what we're going to do is we are going to talk about the trimmer by George. So if you're not familiar with it, we'll show you exactly what the trimmer by George is and why we use it and how to use it, as well as, pinning, joining your blocks, and how to add a sleeve to the back of your quilt.
I think we should answer this real quick since we're on fabric kit talk.
Yes.
And
it makes the larger size. So you have enough fabric that you can make the larger size. If you don't want to make the larger size, then you have extra fabric left over and you can make the small size.
There you go. Okay. It is Poppy Cotton and Michael Miller. So it's a little bit of a combo pack. So hopefully that helps answer your question, Paulette. Okay. All right. So tomorrow we are going to trim that. So here's what we want you to know. If you want to order this and get the best pricing, we'll drop the order link and you can get that. But while you're placing your order, this is the thing I don't want you to do is come tomorrow and learn about new tools and go, well, shoot, I just placed an order. I wish I would have known that. So we just want to make sure that if you are placing an order, especially if you're new, we are going to recommend in our instructions our battleizer. That's the batting and stabilizer combination that you hoop. When using that, you don't need additional stabilizer. Fantastic product, highly recommend. We also have 2 pairs of scissors. I think, yeah, Sarah used, I think the mini today.
Minis, yeah.
So hoop scissors are also at that order link, as well as our trimmer by George. The trimmer we're going to go over how to use tomorrow and wouldn't recommend doing it without it. It's fantastic. So all those 4 products that are at the top of this slide are included in the 10% off. And it will, so it'll take 10% off that and the design when you put them in your cart. Plus it'll get you that rain boot bonus. The 3 items that are on the bottom of the screen, this is a monopoly thread, the Vanish Light. We talked about Vanish Light today. And the strip stick, those are not Hoop Sisters products like everything else is. We carry them, but they're not included in the 10% off. They're fantastic. We recommend them. So just know that the monopoly, we'll talk a little bit more about tomorrow when we are talking about putting everything together. Okay. Hopefully looks like Sarah's starring stuff because I get talking and it's hard to look at those comments. So tomorrow, come back. We're going to talk more about some of those tools I just mentioned. We're going to do trimming, pinning, and joining. So you'll see how to line your blocks up just right. And then the highly anticipated no hand sew sleeve. We're going to be doing that tomorrow too. We've only ever done that live one time and it was a huge hit. So we're excited to show you how to do that with this design as well. So we'll be back tomorrow at 2 p.m. to do that. All right. So again, the workshop pricing, this does expire tomorrow, February 6th at midnight. I didn't say that. I think it might be on the screen, but I realized I didn't say that. So don't miss out if you're interested. The 10% is on the fabric too. So great time to get that. And free shipping too on orders over $129 within the contiguous US. So as long as your order is shipping within the contiguous US, if your cart hits $129, it's going to save you shipping, and shipping is expensive. So that's a good, if you need some stuff, now's the time to get it. Patricia's asking how much, oh, you started. Okay. We're going to do a Q&A here in a minute too. So keep the questions coming. Sarah's starring them. And we will make sure that if it isn't something we're going to cover tomorrow, we will get your questions answered today. All right.
I think, can I answer something really quick?
Yeah. They can't hear you. Your mic's over here.
Yeah, sorry. I'm thinking as I'm saying that.
Okay.
You go ahead and do that. I'll answer that.
Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the live viewer giveaway. So if you are watching live, be sure to type the word spring in the comments, and we're going to do a live giveaway for the people who took the time to hang out with us live today. Let me share my screen and we will get you all taken care of. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else want to get in on this? All right, here we go. We're going to bring in spring right now. Not really. We're getting a nice storm tonight, but you know, one can hope. Oh, congratulations, Ardith. I just saw Ardith say that she is new around here. So she's watching over on YouTube, and you just won yourself $50 in Hoop Sisters store credit. So congratulations. And what you are going to want to do, Ardith, is email Nina. And then that way she knows what email address is associated with your account, and she can add $50 in store credit for you. So congratulations, Ardith. That's awesome. And I always know we have the best group, the best community, best group of people, tons of people, Ardith. I hope you can see them saying congratulations on YouTube and Facebook to you. So that's fantastic. Okay. So now at this point, you all, what we're going to do is hang out and answer some questions. We've kind of starred a couple that we noticed that we wanted to answer. So we are going to go through those. I did get some news that the Lake House teal, which is the teal 1 yard cuts, is sold out. So the kits are still available. And I don't know the name of the other fabric, but the other one's still there too, but the teal is gone. Okay. All right. What is a strip stick?
I'm starting a bunch of questions already.
Okay. Keep them coming.
So, yeah, if you have them.
Okay. All right, you all. So what we're going to do now is we're going to transition into question and answer time. So if you have no interest in that, totally get it. If you already placed your order and you're like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, that's fine too. Or if you want to just hang out with us and hear us answer some questions from other people, that's what we are going to move into now. But please note too, if you want to ask a specific question about your cart or the order or the discount, and something just isn't looking right to you, that now's a great time where you can reach out to Nina after the live and get your questions answered there as well. Okay, Sarah.
Yes, I think we've just got a few starred. Can I switch you sides for this part? Okay. I got to be in the driver's seat.
I might sit over here and see if I watch the live comment.
Okay. So we're going to do our little question and answer. I tagged everything that I could see as far as questions. So Linda over on YouTube wants to know if we wash our material first. We do not. We don't wash it first, and really don't have any problems with shrinking or bleeding or anything like that. Okay. Ginger said she put the tulips wall hanging in her, I think she means cart, and it doesn't show the discount. The tulip wall hanging does not show the discount. So Ginger, make sure that you're adding 2 things to the cart. So you have to add 2 things to your cart from the items that we went over. It does exclude some items, but it should tell you right at the top of the new arrivals category what it excludes. But if you add 2 things from that category that qualify, you'll get 10% off. If you are not getting that, you can go ahead and contact Nina, whose information is on the screen after the live, and she will help you out. Diane over on YouTube wants to know, what is a strip stick? I wish I would have grabbed one. I don't have one with me right now, but we'll talk about this more tomorrow, Diane. So a strip stick is...
Go to the next one. I'll get it.
Aubrey's going to grab it, but a strip stick is essentially a wooden dowel that's cut in half. So there's a flat side and then you have the rounded side. And the purpose of it is so that if you like to use that additional wool batting in your blocks, you can kind of lay the seam right over the top of the strip stick and it won't flatten everything as you're pressing your seams. So this is what a strip stick looks like. So you've got your flat side and then this side is more rounded. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but I'll show you more about this tomorrow. Like I said, you'd essentially lay your seam right over the top of this, and then when you're pressing your seams, it would keep you from pressing your blocks flat if you've used that additional wool batting. Patricia Hale on YouTube wants to know how much battleizer is needed. So for the small size, you could probably use just a 5-yard battleizer. If you want to do the larger size, you probably will need 6 to 8 yards of battleizer. And that is all in the fabric and thread key is where I get that information from. You could stretch the life of your 5-yard battleizer by making Frankenbat, but you might need a little bit more if you're making that larger size. Okay, Jenny on Facebook asked, were you going to talk more about thread today or tomorrow? I'm thinking that you're meaning water-soluble thread. And I did say at the start I was going to talk about why we use water-soluble thread in a moment, and then I never did. So let's do that right now. Take that off. Okay, so water-soluble thread. We primarily like to use that at the start of your blocks. So in tack downs, things like that. What it does is it serves a couple purposes. First, it's going to just eliminate thread changes. You don't have to change your thread every time you're tacking down a new color fabric, right? So that's great. It also, we like to use it around the outside edges of the block. So on our basting stitches, these black lines, this is where you'd use water-soluble thread. And this is where I would argue it's probably most important to use water-soluble thread. And the reason is when you're joining your blocks together, so let's say we want to join these two blocks together. We join right along the basting stitch. So right along this black line. We don't do a 1/4 inch seam based on raw edges. So if I join right along our basting stitch with right sides together and I don't catch our basting stitch perfectly, instead of having a thread that you have to grab your seam ripper to pull out those basting stitches, this is a water-soluble thread. So all you have to do is add a little bit of water, just dab it with a wet Q-tip or something like that, and that vanish light dissolves really, really easily. So that's why we use water-soluble thread. Oh, Linda says, I have all your tools and they are great. Well, thank you, Linda. Let's see. Joan Good was asking, what is the 1-yard fabric we were talking about? So in addition to the fabric kit, if you want, there's the option to buy an additional 1-yard cut of fabric. There were 2 options. I know one of them is sold out. I think the print is still available and it coordinates perfectly with these fabrics. So that is the 1-yard fabric that we were talking about. Just kind of reading as I'm answering. Oh, Judy, I don't know off the top of my head. You want to know how many blocks are in the quilt?
We said 10 unique.
Yeah, 10 unique, but I think it's actually total blocks that you have to stitch is 16 blocks for the main part of your quilt, plus your border blocks. So I think it's 16 main blocks that you have to stitch plus 16 border blocks plus your corner. But as far as unique blocks go, there are 10 different unique blocks within the central part of the quilt plus your border blocks. So hopefully that helps.
Can I, since we were just talking about fabric, can we?
Yeah, go for it. You got one? What would you use 1-yard for? So you could use it for your backing fabric, or you could use it, if you're getting the kit, you could use it to replace and use in different areas if you wanted to. You could really use it for anything. I do have an example of one behind me where we used the print in the border.
Someone was actually talking about that, saying they might take it down. 1 yards are sold out.
Okay, well, if you were lucky enough to snag a 1 yard, then this is kind of an example of how we used it in a little different way. So we put the print in the border for this one. Thank you, Nina. What else do you want to put up there, Aubrey? I think you're kind of you're looking at some of those. You want me to take over again?
I was actually looking in the live part.
Okay.
So real quick, I thought this was a good comment. I don't know if they can hear me as good as you. So
yeah. So Linda says she thinks that the strip stick is good for pressing your seams, whether or not you use wool batting. So that's nice. Let me see what else we have. I'm not reading these. I'm just clicking the button.
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm going to read them as I go. I love that Loretta's over on YouTube says, I love that you can always go back and watch again. I'm doing the sashing for the first time and went back to sashing how to and played it again. Yeah. So that is really nice. So especially if you are a number one and you've never done anything Hoop Sisters, and this is your very first time, then just remember, you can always go back and watch this replay again. You can watch the live again, watch us stitch out the butterfly block, learn a little bit more again, because sometimes you have to hear things a few times, right? Hear a little bit more about battleizer, water soluble thread, hoop scissors mini, the bobbin tip that we did, all those types of things.
All right, I'm just going to start popping questions in for you.
Okay. Would kit have enough for binding? Yeah, so the kit always includes binding fabric in there as well. It just doesn't include backing fabric. So yes, binding fabric is in there. Oh, wow, Linda, you must have ordered quick. She said her order already shipped. Karen and the girls over there were ready. They were waiting.
Oh, shoot. I hope Kay got some.
I know.
Sold out. Oh.
You want to answer that? I mean, I know the answer to it, but do you want to answer it? Yes, always a mystery quilt.
Oh, this is nice.
That is nice. Thank you, Chris.
Okay, I think.
Did we do it?
I think. Oh, yeah. Somebody wants the name of the floral fabric. We can do that. You want to?
Yes. Name of the floral fabric is, let me tell you. I don't have it typed up right now or anything, but it's right here. It is by Poppy Cotton, and it is their line called Painted Blossoms, and it's the color teal. So Painted Blossoms Teal by Poppy Cotton. Yeah, and then Ellen wants to know if we could put the brands of fabrics and specific styles, colors, all those things, if we could share that so those of them who missed the yardage can look for that. Yeah, we can do that. We can definitely do that. Where's Linda's store? So that's in Sewing Concepts, or I just said it's in Sewing Concepts. It is called Sewing Concepts, and it is in Woodstock, Illinois.
And then this too.
Uh-oh, it went away.
Oh, well, shoot, I lost it, but they want to see a piece of wool as an example.
Okay.
Here.
With wool batting, I don't have one of these exact blocks with wool batting. This is the smaller size, so I chose not to use wool in it. But when you get wool and you cut it to size, if you've never worked with it, it'll be kind of puffy on the outside. You do just want to make sure that you press those edges flat before you tack it down. But offhand right now, I don't have one of these blocks with the wool stitched into the design.
I'm not sure if they do or not.
I don't know the answer to that, Sharon. You'd have to reach out to either your local quilt shop or one of those shops. I have no idea, Amy. Amy wants to know what color metallic thread I used. I have no idea. Aubrey, do you want to hand me that thread and I can see if I can figure it out from there? It's the thread in the machine.
Oh,
just pull it off there. Let's see. And now, Amy, we've had this for a while. We've had this metallic thread for a while. It is not brand new. So this is called Sparkle Lame.
Lame?
Yes. Lame. So, and it's kind of a gold color. So if you are familiar with that, that is what it is.
Okay.
Yes, and Nina said, just a reminder, we do still have the full fabric kits. So we still have the kits where you can make everything right here. What is sold out are the 1 yard pre-cuts. So keep in mind, you can still snag this kit and it will have all the fabrics to make it as exactly as you see. Okay, you see anything else, Aubrey?
So this question here, if there's an update and you bought something, we have your email address. We'll let you know.
She'll find you.
Yeah. Okay.
Mary wants to know if we gave the answers to the 5 fill in the
Oh.
blanks in the workbook. I think I did. I don't think I specifically mentioned each one as I did it.
Yeah.
But we'll go over a few of them right now. So the first fill in the blank is Hoop Sisters brand new design Spring Things has 10 unique blocks in it.
I'm putting you on camera.
Okay. And then number 2 is Spring Things. That's kind of a tongue twister. Blocks use a combination of applique would be the fill in the blank and stitch and flip technique. And then the third one we also talked about that Hoop Sisters recommends a polyester embroidery thread. And number 4, we talked about the Hoop Scissors Mini and how it has that offset handle and the fine tip. And number 5, we're going to talk more about tomorrow. So I'm going to make you come back tomorrow for number 5.
Marla wants to know what exactly is a workbook.
You want to answer that one? I'm going to make you answer that one. I do. It's right here.
Okay, here. So the workbook, we actually just added this year. It's just fun. It's nothing that you absolutely have to have, but it gives you dates, times, has little spots where you can write in there. If you registered, you'll get it in your email, and it's also in our VIP Facebook group. And I think Nina has a link to it. It has our schedule on day 2 and the link. So it's clickable so you can get straight to the live, which is nice. And it tells you what we're going to cover. And then the next page, for this one, we did a coaster challenge. We're going to pick a winner. So if you have the coaster from registering, make it, post it in our VIP group, which has a clickable link right there too. And then you'll be entered to win. I think we're doing $25 in store credit for that. Now this workbook is the first time we've also done a word search. Just fun. It's all got spring words, trimmer, tulip, workshop, battleizer, things like that. I'm not monitoring comments anymore, by the way. And then it also has the fill in the blank page. So you can kind of follow along through the workshop and fill in the blanks. But again, it's nothing that you absolutely have to have, but it's just kind of a fun reminder of the event. And Pam says she really loves the workbook.
Good.
That's great. And then it also has Nina's contact information and kind of who we are and things like that in it. So it's fun.
I saw someone told me, they helped me out.
Yes.
This is Sparkle Lame.
Yeah.
She said it's French.
Well, yeah, it
I
sounds
don't
way
know
better
French.
than lame.
I think it does too. Lame.
It isn't lame. It's very cool.
It's just lame.
Yeah.
Okay. Shows what I know. I see a couple comments over on YouTube asking where they can go to purchase. So I think Nina just dropped an order link. So that should help you out. I do just want to clarify that when you are purchasing, not everything is bundled into a kit. So if you want the fabric kit, you have to get the fabric kit as well as the USB or digital download for the design.
Yep. Okay. Love the workbook. And someone else said it keeps them very organized. So that's good. We could all use more of that in our life, right?
No, I need some of that.
Okay. I don't see any other questions that we didn't get to, but if we missed yours in the craziness of comments coming in, go ahead and get a hold of Nina after this, and she can definitely help you out. And then we're going to be back tomorrow, same time. There's going to be a text going out if you're in our text group, and an email reminder with the link to the live there. And of course, you can get it off your workbook as well. And I'm excited for tomorrow. We're going to do the trimmer, the pinning technique,
Mhm.
show you how to kind of join your blocks together. I'm sure you're going to talk about these kind of sections a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, we are going to do the most exciting thing I think that you guys are excited about is that no hand sew sleeve method that Sarah does. I think you're really going to love that. So when is the organza added?
So organza is an optional step for the dragonfly block, and it's added in the hoop. It's just you layer your stitch and flip, and it just adds a little iridescent look to the wings. So
That's
again,
pretty cool.
it's optional. If you don't want to use organza, you don't like the look of it, you don't have any, you don't have to. So
if it's not letting you add something to your cart, call Nina. It could be sold out. Honestly, I don't know what it is that you're trying to add, but just call Nina and she'll let you know. She'll be able to figure it out quickly. Okay. That's it for us today. I had so much fun and I'm excited to come back and do it again tomorrow.
yeah.
All right. Happy shopping. We'll see you tomorrow for the rest of it. Bye-bye.